I want to say this. Since 95, we deserved something better. We deserved something fresh. We've had the same thing for, what, 15 years now? Did it really make sense not to change things? I mean, first off, you've got a new owner. Then you've got a new GM. And now you've got a new coach. So why not do something different with the logo? And I'm hearing the people that saying it looks like Thundercats. But let's be real here. Thundercats, really? It's not even the same color. They go teal in Thundercats. Come on now. Not only that, I've seen the Thundercats logo, and that does not look anything alike. But anyway, I absolutely love the salute to the military. I love the fact that, they're adding a patch in, and, the whole color scheme goes great too. Though I will bleed teal for life, I have to say, and I have to admit, that this is looking better. And I have no doubt in my mind that Shad Khan will do a tremendous job with the uniforms coming out next. And really, it is a logo that grows on people. I firmly believe when we look back in another couple of years, you will see that the logo is 100 times better than the original. Add to that, you will also see that the huge billboard that will beat out any other that is in the NFL today will bring out so much revenue that Shad Khan will look like an absolute genius. Absolutely. Think of all the different sporting events that will come through here now. Think of the title game, the BCS Bowl. Think of all the extra shows that will show up and all the entertainers. Oh my. Just to think of it, just to believe. Stand, we are united. That's what we are. So moving on, let's talk about Blaine Gabbert. I know everybody's like, that he stinks right now. But let's look at the facts here. He has not had a line since he started. He came out of the lockout and he was not able to perform right away. So he lost all that time being a rookie, being the youngest in the league at that time, and he had to learn a new system in a new league that's faster and stronger than anything he's ever faced before. Add to that, he had to learn how to play under center after he was a spread offense, quarterback to begin with. So anyway, here he goes. He's got to play with a bunch of garbage people other than Monroe and a patch job. So every week in and week out, he's fighting to not get killed back there because the line, for some reason, the second year is the exact same as the first year, or pretty much. And not only that, he's also got to deal with the unsurmountable amount of drops from the receivers. It was absolutely ridiculous that you had over 60 drops in the same year from the same group of receivers. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, I know some people are going to talk about David Garrard and say, well, he had basically the same receivers with the exception of Justin Blackman and, Cecil Shorts. But, you're going to say he had the same, receivers. But let's face facts here. David Garrard was built like a tank. Add to that, he had a healthy Maurice Jones-Drew. And the line was built around him. The line was not built around the receivers. It was definitely a run-blocking line. And you can see now, okay? I mean, David, had the ability to scramble all the time. And what do you think he was doing? He was trying to get out of the way and make something happen. And, the defenders had a hard time knocking him down, and he would run because he was built like a tank, period. But anyway, you look now and you say, well, Blaine is garbage. All right, well, let's look at Chad Henne. Yeah, he had that good game, but other than that good game, what did he do? Matter of fact, he was the only quarterback that I've ever known that got sacked 12 times in one game. Really now. Okay, so he did exactly what Mike Mularkey said not to do, and he ended up the starting job, and they just bypassed Blaine. When all Blaine did was follow what Mike told him, and it didn't matter because Mike made him look out to be the bad guy. When in reality, Blaine's not soft. He's just running for his life and trying to make plays with nothing to work back there. And when he finally, started to click with receivers, he wasn't really given a chance, and then he got injured, and then the realms went over to Chad Henne, but I hope he never plays another down for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's just my personal belief. Now, am I saying that in the draft, if Geno's available, to pass up on him? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying in the second or third round, if there's a quarterback available, to pass up on them. I'm just saying, give Blaine a line and let's see what he's got. If he's still garbage, or trash, as some people are calling him, that's fine. But if he's not, and you trade him, and he goes on a team with a decent line, and ends up somebody, let's say, I don't know, Brett Favre, who was traded after, being drafted by Atlanta and doing nothing, and then went to Green Bay, and we all know how that turned out. He's now a Hall of Famer. Am I saying Blaine will one day be a Hall of Famer? No. What I am saying is give the dude a chance. He deserves it. His contract's not up. He's not expensive. And, if we're not drafting Geno second or a quarterback that could beat him out of the helm, which I don't see any of the rookies doing other than possibly Geno, because what was I going to say here? The way, Geno's ready for the pro, style where Blaine was, in the spread. Another thing, if you're not going to do that, why not tailor it to Blaine? Why not try a spread offense? It's not going to hurt to try. It's not going to hurt to actually, do something different. And I believe that Jed will put, the best possible, sequence together as far as, formations and as far as making plays for Blaine to succeed, if Blaine is the quarterback of the future. Now, if he's not, well, that's another thing. If he's not and they trade him and, he ends up with a great career, that's wonderful. But at that point, I'm no longer really going to care about Blaine because he's not a Jag. People call me a homer all they like, but the fact of the matter is, I bleed teal, and that's, why I watch the NFL. I will catch a game here and there, but, I really didn't care for the playoffs that much. Watched a little of the Super Bowl, but, But anyway, on to the next subject. All right, let's talk about Cecil Shorts. What a fantastic beginning of a career he's had. Now, I will say that he looked like a deer lost in the headlights back when they had him as a kick returner and, a punt returner. But since they moved him to the receiver role, wow. I never thought a Division II star would turn into an NFL star like that. I didn't predict him to be anything remotely close to looking to like what Garcon is, let alone somebody, a Hall of Famer like Jerry Rice. But what he's proven, regardless of the concussions, which happened, which I don't understand out of, the last few years, these concussions are coming all the time, all of a sudden. There's got to be something to do with strength and conditioning all around in the NFL, or maybe just the way the helmets are structured or something. But the fact of the matter is he is a dynamite wide receiver. I actually put him ahead of Justin Blackmon, though I believe the potential Justin Blackmon will end up a Pro Bowl in no time at all. But for a guy, that went from Division II to the NFL, that is a huge, let me say it again, a huge difference. And still almost gets 1,000 yards with, hardly any line. He basically had to make up all this yardage himself. Him and Blackmon. They both deserve a round of applause. But anyway. Alright, let's move on here. Who do I think the Jags will draft at number 2? Honestly, I think that we will go and we will draft no one at 2. Because I firmly don't believe that Geno will be around. And if he is, that the value to grab Geno with the only quarterback worth anything in this draft, in my opinion, as far as top 10 potential, with nothing else there, I see great trade value for him. Now, am I saying to trade for him? No. If the Jags believe Geno could be the next great quarterback, they need to take him, regardless of the value. However, if they don't believe that, then they need to get as many picks as they can and build something, because this roster has so many holes on it, it's looking like a Swiss cheese factory. It is absolutely ridiculous. We definitely need another tackle. Meester isn't bad, but he is older. As far as the guard, I could say Rackley will develop into something great, but the reality of it, he's already been injured and he's really unknown. And on the other side, does a good job, but really is just getting older, and it's time to move on. That's just, he's on the Jags board and everything, and that's wonderful, but really, he, at this point, as much as people will hate on me, he's really, I don't know. He really needs to be replaced. Other than that, let's look at what else we can see here. The backup running game. If Maurice goes down yet again, oh my. Owens, really, turned it on and everything. But if you take Owens out of special teams and you make him the full-time running back, well, then your special teams suffer. And really, do I see him as a number 1 receiver receiver. Do I see him as a number 1 running back to replace Maurice Jones-Drew? Which, honestly, the new running scheme will be a lot of receiving. So, as well as being the running back. And I still don't see Owens being anywhere close to Jones-Drew. Now, is he a good tandem? Yeah, but once again, you take him out of special teams with the special teams looking so bad lately that, I don't know. I just wouldn't do it. I would look elsewhere, free agency, or take one of the younger guys and put them in the back until we can draft somebody. I don't know. Or use him as, a running back here and there, but I really wouldn't take him out of special teams. You got rid of the other great special teams ace, and the only one you have back there really is Owens. That's really it. Now, as far as the fullback position, let's look at here. Greg Jones, heck of a blocker. However, outside of blocking, and with the new NFL, and it being a quarterback game, as Jettis said, I don't know if we still have, much use for him when his contract expires. I just don't know. I really just don't see. I do know as far as tight ends, though, if Mercedes does not pick it up and does not go back to the way he was, all the blocking he does in the world won't matter if we find a receiving tight end. because he's just going to be brought to the back. I don't care, his martial arts background. It is what it is. I would, at this point, with the roster so bad, I would even think about trading him. Not saying that that would be the best idea, but at the same time, he's not getting any younger, and he hasn't really produced that well. But then again, it could be the scheme. It could be he hasn't had time due to the line that just is not there. Now, as far as the defensive pass rushers, I would definitely look in the draft to, grab one, or at least free agency. I would look at the guy from Detroit. He's, really good at what he does, to be a tandem with Babin, because I just don't see Lane doing much. And Branch, he's still young. I mean, it's just going to take time. And I know, we do have Mincy. Mincy does do a heck of a job sometimes, and then other times he just disappears. I don't know why he disappears. Maybe it's due to the fact that the defensive tackles just ain't getting the job done. Tyson is not worth number 10. He hasn't produced like a number 10. He's not even close. He's been injured a lot. I mean, you name it. I mean, as far as defensive tackles, that's an area of need as well. I believe as far as cornerbacks, at this point, if there's nothing else out there, you have to re-sign Cox. You have to say that Derek Cox, when he played well, when he was playing, did a phenomenal job. However, how long can he remain healthy? And that was the thing with Gene Smith. It wasn't that he had all bad picks. It's just the majority of it just had durability issues. That was, his biggest downfall, other than Tyson being picked at 10, which makes no sense in my eyes because he just hasn't produced anywhere near. Okay, other than that, you would definitely pick somebody up in free agency because I don't see another corner other than Cox, especially if Mathis isn't retained here, which I don't see that happening, really contributing that much to be a starter. I would look in free agency. If nothing was there in free agency, possibly a trade or possibly the draft. From then, you got the safety. Right now, I say with a weak, let me say this again, a weak safety class in the draft, I would say that our, safeties are fine. I think both Lowry, who's a stud in my eyes, and Landry, who's also started my eyes, are a heck of a safety tandem. I think as far as the linebackers, I think Paul is phenomenal. I think Smith should definitely be retained, no doubt about it. In my eyes, he should be a Pro Bowler. He makes the defense look so much better when he's on the field, period. He had that that injury. But, outside of that, he's been phenomenal. He disappears in games, but you have to realize that the reason that the team looked top 5 in defense one year and then looked like absolute crap in the next is because 3 and outs. I'm sorry. You got a bunch of 3 and outs over and over again, and the defense gets worn out. That's just how it works. That's just what happens. Other than that, I would say we definitely need to draft or free agency, get somebody else to play, the weak side linebacker, because we just don't have much there. I just don't see it.
In other news, I'm seeing that the Jets are interested in a quarterback trying to make a return in Jamarcus Russell. Oh, the dude is what, 300 pounds? I don't know of another quarterback that is anywhere remotely close, and I don't really see him as far as, let's say, staying in shape, really trying. Now, if he goes down to 260, 250 pounds, I would say, give him a shot. Because let's face it here. As far as the Jets, their quarterback situation is really a mess. Right now, we're looking at, Sanchez is like night and day sometimes.
Sometimes he's really on, but most times he has just been really, really, really bad. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. I mean, other than that, what do they have? They have Greg McElroy, which I guess he did all right, for the limited time he's had and everything. But they really would have to go with another quarterback. Because, I mean, I guess Jamarcus Russell, if he does trim down, would be would have a tenth of a shot at starting. I highly doubt, he could come close to Sanchez as far as production, or even leading the team. And I think it's just the fact that he has no money that, is the reason why he even wants to come back to begin with. I just don't know mentally where his head has been at. He was a top quarterback, coming into the draft and then just busted big time. Epic bust. But since the Jets don't have much else there, if they want to take a shot at him, they should. Now, as far as, I may be missing somebody. Oh, yeah, I am. But I don't see any scenario, even if he's released, for me to worry about it. So anyway, I'm going to end the show right now. I know it was short and everything, but this is still just a rough draft phase. I'm going to go more in detail with different things and look at everything and, as time goes on, produce a better show. But right now, this is unedited. That's why there's mistakes here. And I just wanted to give a shot to, show my potential down the road. And everybody's been waiting and wondering, they're like, CT Jags, are you ever going to come out with this podcast? You keep on saying you're going to do it, and then you never did. You are like that boy that cries wolf. Well, I'm not really crying. I just had a lot of things going on at one time. And, my ultimate goal is I'd love to be out, in Jacksonville, and I'd love to have the inside scoop. But I think BCC does a heck of a job as far as that, as well as Black and Teal, and as well as, several other news sites and being informative. But I will try to get up to date as possible as I can. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short show, and hope you stay tuned. CT Jags out. Have a good evening. Oh yeah, one more thing. Please stay tuned for my future shows. I'm going to talk about the head coach and the GM and the owner and everything that's fun in Jacksonville. All right. Take care.